Today I plan on pulling the fenders. I wanted to pull them this past weekend so I could paint them today, but I had company on Saturday and I got this on Saturday, and I'm going to give this away. I'm going to do a giveaway on it, and I've kind of thought of what I'm going to do, so maybe just keep an eye on my videos. Probably in the next, maybe early next week, I'll do a giveaway. I want to kind of do a giveaway for Christmas, and I'll give you the details on that when I get ready to do it. But anyway, I'm going to try and get the fenders off today so I can get this all, ready. So I got most of the suspension in, as you saw in the last video, but today I ordered all the parts from here for the brakes, so I got everything coming, and you might be a little disappointed because I was going to put I really wanted to go with the original style disc brakes, but that just turned into a big fiasco, because then I need wheels and need to change a lot, and that would have added about $1,000 to the cost of the restoration. $1,000 I don't want to spend on something to change it from drum to disc. The drum brakes work just fine, on these cars. I've had a lot of these old cars with drum brakes and never had issues with them. They stop well. It's just a myth that they're no good. So what I did do, though, what I'm going to do, I should say, is I'm going to go back with the single reservoir system. And the reason why is the proportioning valve, which would go here, on this, replace this, I'm going to reuse that mounts here to distribute the lines, was almost $300. I found 5 different correct 67 proportioning valves. 3 of them were NOS, and they're in the $250 to $300 range. And I found a couple used ones, and they were $175 each. And I'm not spending that kind of money for a proportioning valve. That's just nuts. It's not happening. So I'm going to go back with the all 100% original single reservoir system. Everything's going to be new in the braking system. The parking brake's going to work. So I'm not going to worry about it. I think it'll be fine for, how often the car is driven, and, it's not going to be driven in the salt. So usually when you have hydraulic failure, it's because the lines burst. Well, they're not going to burst if, the car isn't driven in the crummy weather. So we're going back with original single. I know a lot of you are going to gripe about it, but it's just, if you want the dual system, then send me the parts to do it for free. Send me the dual master cylinder, send me the proportioning valve, and I'll put it on. But otherwise it's going back to single. I just can't justify adding $500 to $600 because the dual reservoir master is quite expensive that converts it. And I just don't want to spend an extra $500 or $600 converting it, or $1,000 converting it to disc brakes. And I'm not putting aftermarket crap on it. They make an aftermarket proportioning valve, but it's going to turn into a fiasco because it looks nothing like the original, and it's quite a bit bigger, and it's kind of a tight area. The steering gear's there, the power brake booster's there, the engine's here, and I just don't want some cobbled up Mickey Mouse mess in there. So that's why it's going back to the original single reservoir. Just turning it to a dual reservoir just was turning into an expensive fiasco that I'm not going to go through. So that's just a little update on that. So I did order, I got the master, the hose that goes to the block, the wheel cylinders, the shoes, the hardware. I'm going to make up new lines. So I ordered the hoses that go to the wheel cylinders and the hose that goes over the rear axle. So I can get all the brakes done on the car and working before the engine goes in, because the hydraulic lines go along the back here. And that's the hydraulic line that goes to the rear of the car. And it's just going to be a lot easier to bend this stuff and work it and put it together with the engine out. And and I want to paint this part of the cowl up here while the engine's out. So I'm gonna, get a lot more work done on the car. These fenders will be painted while the engine's out. Well, I could put the engine back in while the fenders are off. But I also ordered the hoses, the belts. No, I didn't order the belts. They don't have belts, but I ordered the original style hoses that were used on this engine, the original style hose clamps, the original style spark plug wires. They don't make like I say, the belts, the OEM style belts, so I'll just go to the auto parts and get the belts. So I basically, this order, that was a lot of it, there was probably about $400 in brake parts, and the rest was in, I ordered the bag for the windshield washer and the hose kit for the windshield washer, and just a lot of odds and ends, little miscellaneous stuff that the car needs. And I think that I got most of it coming now. So the only big expenses that are going to be left on the car is the paint, which I'm going to pick up in the next couple of days, the padded dash, which I'm going to get on here soon because who knows how long that'll take, the convertible top, which is probably going to be around $500 after I get it on. So I've got a lot of the big expenses done. So now I'm probably looking at another $2,000 to finish the car. So I'll be right at the top end of my budget, I think, once this car is done. I'll be pushing close to $10,000, and but I got to get the chrome done too. So those are chrome, dash, paint, and convertible top. And I'll still have miscellaneous little odds and ends I'm sure I'm going to need, but I went through that catalog from cover to cover, page by page, and highlighted every single item. Battery cables, that was another thing I ordered for it. Starter solenoid. This is the voltage regulator this car has, is the black with the silver writing. That shows it as without AC 38 to 42 amp. And I believe that's what that alternator is. I had people telling me, oh, it's a convertible, it'll have 55 amp. Well, convertible top doesn't use a lot of current, and it's not like an AC compressor engaging all the time. It's just, you run it down, you run it up, so it's, run once or twice a day. And that's what the regulator would look like if it was a 55 amp, and it's not. It's identical to this one. So we're gonna, so that's ordered too, along, the battery cables, are ordered. They have that pulley, like I got for $10 here, it's 20. So I did all right. The spark plug wires, they're these ones. It shows it as a 390 428 without smog for the reproduction, exact reproductions. The 352 is exactly the same engine as the 390, so I don't know why they don't have the 352 listed there. They didn't know why it wasn't listed there, so I ordered them. We'll give it a try. Things like the ground strap, I ordered that. The power steering hoses, my power steering hose looks like this, which is for a 60. But the power steering hose that it shows correct for the car is this one, the pressure hose. The return hose they don't make for the car, so I'll just have that made up. That's a low pressure. I can have that done at a auto parts store or make it myself. That's no big deal. But we'll see, hopefully maybe somebody replaced the hose at one time and just put this hose on in place of that. I don't know. We'll see. So just kind of wanted to show, I ordered the wheel cylinders, the shoes. Like I say, I didn't order drums because I don't know if the drums are beyond their limits yet or not. I'll get them turned, and if they're beyond their limits, then I'll order drums. Even ordered a new sticker like that one that was there. So anyway, all right, enough rambling. I'm going to try and get the fenders off and start sanding out that stuff. Like I say, I wanted to paint all this today. but that's just not going to happen, obviously. So maybe by the end of the week. And definitely keep an eye on my videos for when I do the giveaway on this. Alright, I took out a dozen bolts. It should be ready to come off, so we'll soon find out, won't we? Maybe I'm missing one here. Let me look. Yep, missing one bolt. Let me get it out, and then we'll pull the fender out. So hopefully now it comes off. There we go. It's one fender off, a bunch of dirt down in the bottom there, but it's really good shape. I'll show you the, I don't know where I'm going to put this stuff, but for now I'm just going to set it here. Let me kind of go over everything here. Yeah, wow, it's in really good shape. So there's no rust through in the air box here. That's all solid. And I can paint that up now. There's a 688 there. I think this is a VIN number tag right there. And leather strip. It's all in really good shape. I'll give that a good vacuuming out. The spacers for the top, the spacers for the bottom. This is where the inner fender bolts. I can paint that little bit of the frame I missed. I can paint all this. Paint this in here. So yeah, I can, well, how clean that is. A couple of my viewers commented that I was going to have rust out to fix there. I'll hit that with the DA, get it sanded out, prime it up with some zinc chromate, and clean that up and get that primed. Look at this fender. Look how clean that is. A little bit of a dent right there, which I'll bump out. Look at that. You can see the screw holes for the molding. But yeah, that's just primer in there. That's not surface rust. Factory primer. That's unheard of to find these that aren't rusted there. Just especially in here in Michigan. Looks like there was something written on it there at one time. But look at how clean this fender is. I'm going to paint this. I'm going to give it a coat of that green, the body color. It's going to look nice. Paint the fenders off the car. So that's all the bolts that held the fender on, plus two more bolts that aren't here that I took out when I took that inner rubber flap out. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There would be 13 bolts, plus these shims were on the bottom, these shims were on the top. I wrote on them with a magic marker so I know what goes, and I think I'm just going to throw these on the passenger floor. I did, there's a rubber grommet on this. I took them off quite some time ago, but that's how you get to the bolt head on that, is take the rubber grommet off. That's a hood bumper along with a fender bolt. So one of my loyal viewers has a 66 Galaxie that he purchased at the front end's off, and he wants to know what holds the front end or fenders on. This bolt, that goes into the frame, that holds that rubber flap that goes here. These are rivet holes for that rubber flap. Then there's all these bolts that go into the fender. These go into those brackets that I took off to, I bead blasted them separately and painted them. That too, which helps hold part of the headlight assembly in with that. These two bolts go to the fender. That one's for the radiator grill. This one holds part of that apparatus and that holds the valance on. There's the body mount. These two bolts hold this inner fender on, and then there's a stamped out a sheet metal bolt there. So there's not a lot that holds this assembly together, and I'm not taking it off the car. I mean, I don't know. I just don't want to undo the body mounts there, and I'm just not undoing anymore. I've taken more apart on this car way more apart than what I intended to, but I'm so happy to see how good a condition this is in. So I'm going to paint all this body color while the front clips off. I'll paint this black, that black, this black. Probably just hit that yet today. And then this will be the body color. And I'll probably paint to this joint here forward, body color. And then when I take the doors off to paint the car, I'll paint this with the doors off. And because I think I'm going to put the fenders back on before I paint the door jambs. And I can paint this in here easily with the fenders on. So we'll see. Well, you know, I'd like to take the doors off to repair especially the driver's door, to repair the bottom. And you know, it's got this right here, and somebody's repaired that in the past. There's a little filler right there, so I think that somebody bondoed up where it bubbled out. And repairing old body work's more difficult than repairing. I'd rather repair something that's never been touched. But we'll get the door off this side and cleaned up. And so I'm going to pull this fender now, and surprisingly, you know, I got even these bolts these ones right here came out without breaking. Yeah, they come right off once you get the bolts undone. Let me give you a view of everything here. Another solid side, again, just surface rust, and I will sand that, and I can paint all this up. None of this is rusted out. There's dirt in here, but it's all solid as can be. The VIN number again. Yeah, really a clean car. 53-year-old car. I got to redo all the seam sealer on both sides. You can see that'll cause an interior water leak. So I'll re-caulk all yeah, and this fender is just as clean. It's got something written on there. It looks like black grease pencil. That's the bolt I broke. The stamped out of sheet metal nut. That's the only one that broke on on both the fenders. So yeah, this one doesn't have any damage down there. The other one does. You know, a little dent, a little crease. So yeah, you can see why these cars rusted out the way they did back in the era. Just thin layer of primer. Primer is porous, so it doesn't really seal moisture out. Paint or metal will rust. Prime metal will rust almost as quick as bare metal. If they painted the inner panels, there'd be no rust. That's that damage I was talking about I got to fix. So this fender has that dent, damage, and there's a little tiny crease here, and I can get to that from in here. So I'm going to bump that out, and this fender I don't think had any damage. I'll look it over really well. I'm going to strip them both to their bare metal and repaint them. I think I'll paint this side first, and I'll probably be painting them in the garage because I think the weather today would have been a good day to paint it. It's 50 degrees out to paint this. I could open the doors up, but I have a feeling the truck's going to sit out for a while, so I can set these on sawhorses and the hood upside down on sawhorses. I'm going to paint the underside of the hood first so it can dry the underside of these. And then I'll mask this side off, flip them over, and paint the other side and the other side of the hood. And I'll paint this piece to both sides, and this piece both sides. This is silver though. And I got the silver paint, so I'm going to pick up the green paint probably tomorrow. Yeah, I'm hoping to, and that'll be another big expense chalked up on the car. But it's, you know, I think it'll end right at I had a budget of $10,000. I was going to try and stay around $9,000, but I would go over that if I changed it to a dual reservoir. So that's why it's staying a single. Yeah, the engine will be easier to go in with this apart. And, geez, I don't know. If I took this off, I could, you know, get this front off. You know, I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts holding that. And these bolts are loose. So if these bolts come, that one I tried to undo when I went to change those, because I thought if I can get this undone, I'll undo those ones. So there's really 1, 2, 3 bolts holding it to the core support to the inner fenders. But yeah, then I could I don't know, we'll see. I doubt I'll pull them, but you never know. And then I could put the transmission on the engine out of the car and just slide the whole assembly in and save a lot of work. So we'll see. So I was cleaning the dirt out of the cowl. This thing's really got no rust in it, so I just take my air hose with a long thing on it, blow gun, and just blow the dirt out. These are always full of dirt because everything from the weather, you know, goes through those vents and the water runs it down and they get there, and then the hole, which isn't that big, you know, that's a bit of body caulk, you know, but things plug it up and then it just holds water and they rot out. So it's really important to clean this part of the car out. Make sure the interior vent's closed, otherwise this stuff will all blow in, because that vent floor vent that you pull open is where it gets the air from that floor vent from the cowl right here. So that's a pretty good, you know, it's just some mouse stuff in there, but not much. Mostly just like a sandy dirt. This is stirring up a lot of dust, so I'm not going to video very much of it. Actually black paint right there. So once the surface rust gets off, you can still see the black paint underneath. See, that just cleans up nicely. I'll put some acid on it when I'm done. I have some metal prep, and then I'll zinc chromate prime it when I'm going to sand it all out really good. Got a lot more sanding to do. I'm running out of battery too. I took the blower motor off again, and I'm going to clean this plenum all up with lacquer thinner and clean all the dirt and crud off of it so it looks a little nicer. But I got to sand down in there by hand. But I want to show you the inside of this. It's super. Hopefully I can video down in there. Yeah, it's not going to show up there, but let me see if I can shove it through the plenum here. It's really in good shape in there. I don't know what all I'm videoing here. I can't see the camera. I'm just holding it through. I think that's the vent, floor vent, inlet right there. And I'm just guessing what I'm viewing, but you can see it's in excellent condition. So you can see where the door hinges, bolts go through. That's all primer. That's not rust. It's red primer, red oxide primer. And you can see light through the bottom right here where the caulk is out. So I'll re-caulk everything. Actually, I might leave that open and let it drain there. That's a drain there, but you know, it could let it drain there too. But super, super happy. You can see a date code there, obviously stamped from the other side. So I just kind of wanted to show that. Let me see if I can get some video of the other side. I suppose I could take that off, but I'm not going to. But this side's in better shape too. I don't know if it shows up in there or not, but yeah, that's all red. Like you can read it, says, I don't know if that shows up, it says left hand top. That's the top of the vent. And again, you can see that's all red oxide primer in there. Really in really fabulous shape for a 53-year-old car. You know, in Michigan, these would probably be completely gone up to about here. I'd have to rebuild all this down in here, but no, it's super clean. You can see the primer in there. This car's just in amazing condition. So while the fenders are off, I'm going to paint all this, repaint all of it. I mean, why not, you know? It'd be crazy not to, huh? So that'll look really nice. Even though you see zero of this. You don't see any of this. You might see a little bit of that through those cowl vents. You don't see any of this. That hood hinge bracket bolts right to there, hides all this. You see nothing from here to here and down. You can't see the blower motor. I mean, I tried to look for it before I took the car apart. So yeah, it's gonna be super nice. And I'm gonna finish sanding these out now. And yeah, again, this is the driver's side's in better shape. That's more black paint than surface rust. That's in really good shape. So I'm just going around by hand where all these ripples are from the stampings and sanding the rust out. And then I'll wipe it down with some metal prep and get some zinc chromate primer on it. I sanded it with 320 before I reprimed it, you know, to sand the other primer had been dry over 24 hours, so that's why I gave it a quickie sand. You can see some pits in the metal there from, you know, it was surface rusted pretty bad, and I cleaned it all out really good and used metal prep acid on it and primed it with the zinc chromate primer, which really bites into the metal, and it really cleaned up nice. And it's pretty much all ready to spray. Yeah, I thought about pulling them off the car, but I'm not going to. I can literally push this fender ahead enough. I got a little overspray on my frame, but that's why I painted the frame first, because it's easy to touch up, and I'd rather have overspray on that to touch up than on this with the urethane paint. And but that came up really super nice. This side has no pittings because there's no battery on this side. There's a little tiny wee little dent there, but I'm not going to worry about that. That's, you know, the fender comes up to here. Actually, it comes to here. It comes beyond this because that's kind of bolted into where the fender is. And I think when I paint the green, I'll take this weather seal off and I'll mask it right here and paint everything from there, and I'll mask it under here all the way across, so all this will be body color all down in there too. So I'm going to try and pick up the paint tomorrow, and then I don't know, in a couple of days I'm going to try and spray this, and then that'll have to dry a couple of days, and then I'll get this prepped up and ready to spray sand it out and recaulked, and none of that's visible, zero. It's all, the fender goes over it, the cowl goes over it. There's weather stripping a wiper motor. You might see just a little bit, you know, here and there of it, but I want to paint it just to protect it. And I'll recaulk all of the joints, and I got the seam sealer. Took the heater blower out again, as you saw, and that's going to stay out until I'm ready to put the fender back on, because just less stuff in my way. And I got a little overspray on the heater box there, but I'll clean that off with lacquer thinner. Once the primer's dry, I can set something in here to protect the inner fender, and I'll just wipe this down with lacquer thinner probably in about an hour or so. But I gotta I'm gonna take this off too to paint this side. And I think I'm gonna try not to sand or do anything with that so that shows through the paint. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but it's like a inspector's number or what. But yeah, it's gonna look really nice. I took the car apart way, 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 way further than what I expected to. And the sawhorses are up in my dad's in Romeo. So I'm gonna get them, and so I can start stripping the fenders while I'm waiting on the black to dry before I can start working on that. I'll let this dry like 48 or maybe 3 days, and then I'll start on that. In the meantime, I'm gonna strip these and get these ready and sand the inside out, so I can paint the inside of these fenders at the same time I paint the cowl. And I think I'm going to get the hood off the roof and paint the underside of the roof at the same time. So I'm not just mixing up a little batch of paint. I'll mix up enough to do all this, the underside of that and the inner parts of them. And the truck may have to sit out for a few days, but oh well. Because I'm going to have, yeah, this is, like, again, like I say, this is way further apart, but I'm really super happy about the condition of the stuff here. This is one of the first places cars rot out here in Michigan. Here, and right in this and in the rocker panels. And the frame box missed a little bit right there when I painted the frame, so I'll get that before I put the fender back on. And like I say, all the brake parts are on their way, so I can get the brakes on it. And I got the stuff, a lot of stuff for the engine. Maybe, who knows, maybe by Christmas it will be running. I'm not gonna etch that in stone. There's still a lot to do, so if it's done running by Christmas, it's running by Christmas. If it's not, it's not. I'm not gonna like say this is the date I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen when it happens. And you know, because I want to do this up nice. Like I say, it's just more than what I expected to do, but it's less work at the end of the day because the car's in just fabulous shape. I mean, for a 53-year-old car, wow, yeah, it's nice. It's a good, solid, really nice car. There's a little light on the floor pan. Yeah, they're super clean too. The undercarriage, you can see this is like this isn't undercoating, this stuff here. It's a sound deadening that Ford sprayed just over the transmission tunnel. You can see kind of, this car was never rust proofed, but you can kind of see where it ends, the full length of the car. Same on both sides. So yeah, super nice. And really come along good. Super happy with the way it's looking. It's really an amazingly clean car. So Jamie, the guy I bought the car off of, he watches my videos. Wonder what he's leave a comment, Jamie. Let me know what you think of what's going on with the car. If you know, pretty far apart, isn't it? But it's going to look amazing. It's really coming along nice. It's basically, I mean, it's going to look weird being done from here forward and not being done from there back, but it'll all get done. You know, it's just the way it is. I just have to, because of space, you know, I just have to work on it here and there. And, you know, that's just the way it is when you do it in your home garage. If I had a big shop, yeah, I could tear the whole car apart and not worry about pieces being everywhere. I'd have the doors off, trunk lid off, everything would be off right now if I had a big shop. But I don't, so this is the way I do it. So I'm going to call it a day. I got 6 memory cards that are full, and this one's almost full, so I got to go put my memory cards to little hard drives so I can erase them so I can reuse them to make more video. If you like the video, though, hit the like button. You know, if you want to see this cool old car all not in a million pieces and going down the road back in its original colors and new top and everything, subscribe to my channel. and thank you for watching my videos.